So once it's glued in, there's no margin for error. If you've made a mistake, you've made a mistake. And guess what? I made a mistake.
This time on Chateau Capers, it's been a week where absolutely nothing went right first time. The drone's in a tree, the pool's gone green, and there's a whole list of disasters in the creaky bedroom. As the spangle beam rosed its raisy noggin aloft the cough air, I gazed a gander through the whiz of the old pile. Days gone by, I ponderberry distractable, the eyes are gluey forward, not in the wings. Then crash a floop, the whiz came to a nesty down atop the tawly green. What a to do? Fork, cry I, wibbling my shafty wobbler all waggly pokey ram up the bush. No joy, ejaculated I at last. But time hoppily by, so in sent we a clawy feather catcher, a specialist. Uppity climb to the rescue on a limb dangleth she, swipety swish, swishety swipe, neary but not a whisker, just beyond tabby tips. So taily turn and downward plop, 50 winks, clippity clop. So climb I caper with frosty levers a-groan. With once-y all snoozy, I try the job twosie. With baubles a-tingling with the tawly green sway, swishety swipe, the whiz is safe. But climby bum down yet to escape. As spangle beam roses above bluey beyond, last step a-tremble betwixt up and the ground. Dropsy, 213, no terror, just firmer, and rescue complete.
Now listen, I've been very serious. You have to subscribe. I think it's so you don't miss out on the extra biscuits. I forgot the rest of my speech, but it was very serious. Thank you.
I'm really pleased to say that the wall's looking quite good. It still looks good. It's drying out quite nicely. We were hoping to wallpaper really soon, but that's sort of off the cards because it will probably ruin the wallpaper if we put it on. We're not sure it's dry, so we're going to have to leave that for a while. They normally say 4 to 6 weeks or something, but we need it done before then. So what I'm doing today is looking quite smart, by the way. That's what I'm doing today, mainly because most of my clothes are dirty and I need to do a wash. Chateau DIY are coming again tomorrow, which is great. We love having them, but it means I've got to try and get ahead of the game so that the day runs a little bit more smoothly when they're here. And I'm going to be installing the shower tray and starting the tiling. So the shower tray, where have I put it? Over here, is this. This tray, look, has these holes, and it sort of suggests, yes, you could put legs there if they supplied the actual kit that goes, which they don't. So I bought legs, and I thought, just for safety's sake, I've got this bit of ply. It's a thin bit of ply. I'm going to template it round, and then I can use that so the tray can sit on top of the ply, and I'll probably glue it in place. And then the feet or the legs, whatever, will definitely have something to stick to if their size isn't quite right. So these are the legs. From the picture, it looks like they're going that way up, so the shower tray sits on top, which would be like that. But if it was that way up, then, and screwed to this wood, I think I prefer that way up than these grippy feet on the tiles. That's the way to do it, as Mr. Punch said. Okay, so now I've got a plan.
I absolutely hate this jigsaw. It wanders around like a toddler having a tantrum. You can't tell, but I have a smug smile on my face. I've just clicked buy it now on a new one.
Okay, so I've marked my hole where the wastewater goes through, and I've just got to remember which way round it is and where the waste pipe goes. So when it fits in the wall, this will be the corner, the waste pipe will be somewhere around there. So I'll want a hole sort of like that. Normally do almost like a keyhole, large, like that, which should give me enough space to get the waste pipe down, and then just round into the wall there.
I double-checked the layout and adjusted the shape of the hole before cutting, which better suited the pipework. For the next step, I used white silicone sealant to stick the tray to the plywood. At least I thought I did. This would be a top-notch whoopsie which I'd find out about the next day. Until that dreaded moment in the future, I carried on like a big smug smarty pants.
Well, this is all I can do for now. I would like the wood to stick, the silicone to go off, so the wood sticks first, and then I might just put some silicone on these and put them down as well, rather than trying to find screws that are short enough to go through the wood but not damage the tray with a big enough head. It'll just be easier to stick them there.
I would use the same, air quotes, silicone sealant to stick the feet on, just to add a cherry on top of tomorrow's surprise. With a little time left in the day, I wanted to get some more batten attached to the walls ready to receive panelling. I ran a bead of foam adhesive along each one. The foam likes about 5 minutes to cure before being pressed into place, so I went to see how Jane was getting on.
I'm just doing a second coat. This is waterproofing paint, which is designed to go on before the plasterboard is tiled.
Rory quite often wants me to give him a hand, especially with the longer pieces of wood. This time I thought I'd be the one wielding the nail gun. How to winterize your pool if, like us, you've never done it before. Firstly, don't look at the pool, especially don't lift up the cover to see what colour it is or how many newts are living in it. Eventually, I ordered a winter cover, cleaned the summer cover and swished about, scooping out leaves at about the same rate as new leaves were falling back in. I had a growing unease about the pool filter. We had both heard the term backwash and knew it was nothing to do with taking a bath, but I had no idea how it was to be achieved. I mentioned backwashing to Rory at intervals until he located a length of flat hose that he thought would do the trick as an exit pipe.
Rory was mistaken. The flat hose was quite wide in diameter, but I felt sure I'd be able to tighten it onto the hose connector. It leaked, so I tightened it again. It leaked again. I gaffer taped it. Didn't work. I held on tight. Nope. By this time we'd been backwashing the filter long enough. It's just half of the water was on the floor of the barn. Even so, mission complete.
2 days ago, we had a green swimming pool, which is not the right colour for a swimming pool. But we went to our local PC shop and we got some very good advice. He told us that the first thing to do was to get the pH level right in the pool. So we bought some pH increaser, and using the test strips and 2 lots of dosing, we managed to get pH within range, 7.2 to 7.4. He then said we needed to add a chlorine shock quantity to the pool, which we haven't added any chlorine before because we have a salt pool, and then to run the pump for 24 hours. Having done that, we are absolutely delighted that the water's clear. The next thing will be to add a winterising solution, which will keep the algae at bay, and to cover it over with an opaque cover, so no more light should get in, no more algae should grow, and it should look clear in the spring.
What are you doing? Good morning. It's quite a frosty day, so it's quite cold in here because there's not been any heating on in this room. And I've got a bit of work to do because we have Chateau DIY coming at lunchtime at about 12, half 12. And they're going to be seeing me putting in the shower tray, which is fine. It's nice and easy. I've prepared for it, as you will have seen. But we have a little bit of a problem, and it's not the meowing cat you might have just heard, in that when we put this room together, we were in a mad rush, if you've watched our earlier videos, before the wedding. And so this room went together pretty quickly, this little ensuite. And I made a bit of a mistake. Here, the toilet is fixed in this position because in France, the pan connector always gets glued into the rest of the waste pipe. So once it's glued in, there's no margin for error. If you've made a mistake, you've made a mistake. And guess what? I made a mistake. So that's meant basically that this toilet is fixed exactly where it is. I can't move it anywhere. And as it turned out, I realised a little bit later that it was too close to this stud wall where the wall pops out here, and there's no room for a little piece of plasterboard to go on this side, so it's just bare metal. So what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to stop talking in a second, is take this bit off, move it across a bit, reattach it, and then put the plasterboard back on. Easier said than done, because I've got to get this off, and then I've got to get this off, and then the metal stud work is actually glued to the wall, so I'm going to have to cut that off to move it. So it's not too difficult, it's a pain, and there's pipe work going through, it's all going to be in the way, but I've got to do it, and I've got to do it before 12:30 or whenever it is that Chateau DIY here come to see me doing that.
It was a real pain to have to undo so much of my hard work building the stud wall.
However, having chosen this basin unit somewhat hastily, I have since decided that it's too modern when juxtaposed with the retro-styled loo, so it was quite handy for me that Rory needed to remove it.
In a testament to my skill, I'd cut the holes for the pipework so accurately I would have to chop the plasterboard in two to remove it. Yay! Needless to say, you can tell from my face that it wasn't as easy as it looked. Plasterboard removed, I could see the inner workings. This piece of wood had been used as something solid for the floating basin to attach to. It's possibly unnecessary now, but I trimmed it and refit it just in case. I cut away the foam adhesive with a pad saw and repositioned the upright. By this time I was getting warm, so I whipped off a few layers. The minutes were ticking by and I was imagining the camera crew's car getting ever closer.
So that's the worst bit done. Now I'm going to try and get a load of foam adhesive along the back of everything and leave it for a few minutes, and then I'll push it against the wall. Hopefully it'll stick. Now that's done, I've just got to give it about 5 minutes until it does whatever it does, and then I'll push it against the wall and hold it in place for an unspecified amount of time until it stops moving. I might actually try using the nail gun as well, that might help. That did not work. I will not be trying that again. It blew the end off the nail gun. Oops. I'll just have to stand here.
The nail ricocheted off the metal stud, taking the gun's safety guard with it. Definitely not one of my better ideas. With the stud work finished, I had to cut the plasterboard down to fit the narrower section of wall. That meant sacrificing my carefully cut pipework holes. But once the larger piece was in place, the job was, at least for now, done.
All that work so that one man could gain an extra inch in the toilet region.
Rude.
So last night I stuck this down, stuck the wood onto this shower tray so that I'd have a nice base to stick the feet onto, which was great. Until this morning when I realised that in my tiredness I'd used cork instead of silicone sealant. So now it's not stuck, the cork hasn't dried, it's just in the way, and I've got to waste a load of time scraping it off and putting silicone on to stick it.
Time was running out and the caulking was still extremely sticky. It took 15 minutes just to scrape it off the tray, and even longer to get it off the plywood. I thought I was finally out of the woods when I flipped the ply back over to stick it down. And that's when a leg fell off. Of course, I'd stuck them down with the caulking as well. There was no time to be annoyed. I pulled the legs off one by one like a psychopathic child with a spider and stuck them back down again with silicone.
It's 11:30. I'm back where I started this morning.
And that was when the crew arrived. We had a great afternoon filming, Jane started undercoating the panelling, and the shower tray was finally installed.
This is a sneak preview of the colour of the panelling that I've chosen. As you can see, it's a light grey. It tones in, I think, really nicely with the colour of the fireplace. The fireplace is the most important architectural and decor feature in the room, so it had to go with that. It's a relatively safe option because I also had to make it work with my wallpaper that I'd bought nearly 2 years ago. Possibly not a classic wallpaper in terms of Chateau for this room, but I think it's going to look really beautiful. So the RAL 7032, otherwise known as pebble grey or flint grey, in some lights it's got a really lovely green tone to it. It certainly never looks gunmetal grey. I think it has a pearly quality to it as well. It's light, it's elegant, and I hope you'll agree it's going to work really beautifully. Winterising your pool part 2. The first thing was to pack away the summer cover. We strapped on its UV protection sheet and moved it out of the way. Rory then did a last check for newts.
To the pond with you lot.
We didn't know exactly how big the cover would be, so we laid it out to gauge where the pegs would have to go, firstly along the short side and then along the long side of the pool. Then Rory drilled the holes and I popped the pegs in and we hooked up the little bungees, ready to dash across the pool in unison, hoping not to drop the cover into the water. We made it! Then we were home and dry, just a bit more drilling and hooking until the cover was in place. Finally, I added the winterising solution and voila, all safe until the spring.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.